Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the AJHL Playoffs show. I'm Nathan Crosby from the Brooks Bandits with Brandon Ewanchyshyn of the Spruce Grove Saints. AJHL Playoffs, we're going to have it this year in 2022 after 2 years since we began the 2020 playoffs, one round in, and then COVID canceled them. So we haven't had a true AJHL playoff since the 2019 season. So we're very excited for it, Brandon. Let's dive in right away into the North Division in some series that I think are super tight and going to be fun to watch.
Just to your opening point as well, how thrilled everybody is about having playoff hockey back. I mean, people ask, how pumped are the fans and the players, even the staff members at this point are so pumped up after being started of it for 2 years. It's going to be refreshing and exciting to get back in that booth and for the players to hit the ice in front of now full arenas. It's going to be so much fun. And we've been talking about it now for probably a month, how forward we are looking to the AJHL postseason. With that, we'll throw things over to the head coach of the Oil Barons, Adam Manah.
Joining us now is the head coach of the Fort McMurray Oil Barons, Adam Manah. It's great to have you on here for a bit, Adam, and great to be talking about playoffs. We've been playoff starved here in the AJHL for the last couple of seasons. Just from that perspective, how excited are you to get into this this series against Sherwood Park when we haven't had playoffs in forever?
Yeah, very excited. I mean, it's good to be thinking playoff hockey again. I mean, I think it's been at least 2 years since we've kind of, been able to play playoff hockey and with the restrictions being lifted and the buildings being back to full capacity. I mean, you can't be more excited, as a player first and foremost, and, as a coaching staff and coaches around the league. I'm sure they're pretty excited too, because I mean, the better the atmosphere in the playoffs, I mean, it just ramps everything up, right? The energy, the intensity, and everything gets driven up that much more. So really excited for everybody to get going, and especially our group, because we've had a lot of adversity in the second half, and I think we're finally kind of at a point where we're back to healthy, and we're looking forward to the challenges.
It's going to be lots of fun for sure. Yourself taking on your former team in Sherwood Park and your former colleague in Jeff Wywitka. How pumped are you to go against that squad? And then what can you expect here in the first round against the Crusaders?
Well, I guess, it's ironic that that's the way things lined up and the matchup, but we know it's going to be a tough matchup. They're a team that plays fast. They have skill. Their D like to get up in the rush, and they have good goaltending. So from our standpoint, we know they're a younger group, but they're going to come in and they're going to work extremely hard, and they're never going to quit, right? So we need to make sure that we're ready to go, in terms of our tracking and playing well defensively. And then when we get our chances, we're going to have to play, just a solid all-around game, but more of a, physical, heavy type game. And that's kind of what our brand of hockey is up here in Fort Mac anyways. So I think all those factors will kind of play a part, but we know they do a good job over there, and they'll be well prepared as well with Jeff and the staff. So, it's, I guess, like I said, it's, if this is the way you would have told us it was going to be drawn up, I mean, I don't know if anybody would have believed it, but here we are, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, it must be pretty cool for you. And, we were up in Fort McMurray back in January and had a chance to talk with you after you were settling in with the new gig up in Fort McMurray. Since then, Adam, finishing second in the North Division, what do you think is going to make your group special here in the playoffs and will separate them from the rest of the pack to give you that success that you need?
I think just the fact that our group is, it's a pretty tight knit group, but we have a lot of heart and we have a lot of compete in that room. So I think those two things alone will hopefully, be the difference in these tight games, or when you get into the playoffs and it gets harder. We got guys that will go to those hard areas, that will, play that physical type game, where you got to really grind game in and game out in order to win. And I think we got a lot of character in our room as well. So, I mean, I think when you add up all those ingredients, hopefully that's gonna help just continue to push us forward. And like I said, we know it's going to be a tough road, especially starting in the first round against Sherwood Park. And, hopefully we can find a way to just take it, game at a time, and just focus on the task at hand.
Adam, when you look at players on your squad, Tyler Wallace, Dylan Clark, Max McCoy, another guy that comes to mind is Brendan Wang. Who are some guys that you're really hoping that they step up here in the postseason and give that extra edge to give your team that extra win, whether it be, game 1, 2, or even down the line in game 7?
Well, yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because Tyler Wallace is more than overdue right now. I mean, not that he's been struggling. He's been getting a lot of scoring chances, but he hasn't been able to physically score. I think he's got 1 goal in his last 15 games or something like that. So we looked at the stat the other day, and it's we're looking at it like he's not playing that bad. It's more of he's getting a lot of chances, they're just not going in for him. So hopefully he's a guy that's going to break through here in the first round and start to get going. And I think he only needs one to go in, and his confidence will just kind of shoot through the roof. But give credit to Wally. I mean, he works hard every day, and he's staying dialed, and he's not letting it kind of get to him. He's staying focused. But on top of him, Wanger on our blue line is obviously a catalyst with us losing Harding on the back end there at Christmas time. Wanger's kind of taken over the first power play unit and has done a really good job in terms of being that contributor, scoring wise for us on the peeper. And then maybe some guys that don't get mentioned, or Ryder McCallum, Lucas Jones on the back end, Chris Kabelka, since we acquired him, has 8 points in 17 games on the back end. He's been a nice surprise coming in terms of his point production. And then, like you mentioned, kind of our high end guys in Danny Ciccarello, Dylan Clark, Justin Ross being another 20-year-old guy that's played really well in the last 5 games or so. We're hoping that all those guys can kind of take steps and can continue to contribute for us, because one of the lines that's been probably our most steadiest has been the DeBurs, McCoy, and Kimmin line. And again, they're built for the playoffs. They play heavy, they play the right way, they go to the dirty areas, and we expect them to just continue, to play the way they have been, because McCoy has arguably been our best guy up front. I mean, he's got 19 points in 20 games since the trade deadline, and he's leading all of our forwards in points. So, if you want to pick out one guy, it'd probably be number 11 for us.
Adam, we talk about playoff experience. Is it a different kind of playoffs this season because there are so few players in our league that have junior A playoff experience?
You hit that bang on. I mean, we were talking about it the other day. We're saying that, we were talking about our goaltenders, for example, and we just said, well, Nadler's 20 and Grattan's 18, but both are in the same boat where they've had no playoff experience, right? And you'd expect Nadler to be the 20-year-old guy with a couple years under his belt now, right? So everybody's in that same boat. Unless you've kind of been in the league, I guess, for the past 3 years, and you got a little bit of a sniff, in 1920. And Wallace got a little bit of that, when he was here back then in 1920. So you're exactly right. I think it's such a level playing field in terms of that experience. And, really it's going to come down to just guys being prepared and focused. And again, that heart and that compete and that character that will end up shining through, because really you can throw the experience out the window. There's not a whole lot of guys that have it.
Adam, thanks for doing this. Best of luck to yourself and the Oil Barons against Sherwood Park here in the first round.
Really appreciate you guys having me on. Great to see you guys.
Special thanks to the head coach of the Oil Barons, Adam Manah, for taking some time to join us here on the AJHL Playoff Show as we continue on here now, taking a look at the AJHL South. With that, we'll throw things off to Rieger Lorenz of the Okotoks Oilers. Join alongside one of the premier forwards in the AJHL, Rieger Lorenz spends his time with the Okotoks Oilers, led the team in points this year. Rieger, thanks for taking the time here today.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
AJHL playoffs are right around the corner. You guys start your series against Blackfalds in just a few days. But before the postseason, how have you enjoyed your first full season here in the AJHL?
Yeah, it's been awesome. We have a great group of guys. We got lots of momentum leading the playoffs here. So you guys are super excited to get it going here.
Yeah, it must be pretty cool for your team and every other team with so many guys that have never had AJHL playoff experience. What's that like? And does it kind of change things, meaning it's an even playing field for everybody with that lack of experience?
Yeah, and even me personally, I was coming from CSSHL, so I've never really had a kind of series during playoffs. This will be a first for me. Yeah, I'm super excited, and I think kind of the youth of our team will kind of add to the excitement, and excited.
You guys are taking on Black Falls, the newest team in the league. You played them twice last weekend as well, but what can you expect here going into the first weekend of the postseason?
Yeah, they're a good team, but I think our the rest of our team has a lot of confidence in our guys, and yeah, I think we're all pretty comfortable where we're at.
Hey, Rieger, going back to last weekend, I mean, what a way for the team to end this season with that home and home against the Bulldogs, who you're facing here in the first round. So it's almost like an extended series, and those weren't meaningless games. I mean, it took till the last day for you guys to get that home ice advantage. But what did that say to you about the way the team was able to go into Black Falls on Saturday and get the win and lock down home ice?
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere in both games was a playoff atmosphere, and yeah, I think our guys responded really well, and yeah, super happy with how we played.
And just how important was it to make sure that you guys made sure that game one would be in Okotoks?
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, kind of youth we have, it's kind of good. We have every kind of opportunity we have to succeed. So that home ice will really help us in the long run.
You mentioned atmosphere. Now with the restrictions being completely lifted, you might have a packed pace on here for the first weekend, and go back to what we saw when the Saints were there way back in 2018 for the AJHL finals. How pumped are you and the guys to now play in front of a potentially packed building for the first time all season?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I think we've had at most, I think, 1,000 people in it, and it was still obviously an amazing atmosphere. So very excited to see when it gets kind of 2,500, it gets up there. So yeah.
Hey, Rieger, I mean, with you know, the playoffs coming here, it's a lot of excitement, but of course yourself, you're looking beyond as well. And obviously your focus will be on playoffs, but with the NHL draft coming up, what is it that you hope to accomplish here in the next few months in your game to make sure that you have a great draft?
Yeah, I just hope to help my team, to be honest with you. I mean, and I think if I play the way that I can, I think I'll help my team. I think that helps me individually as well. So yeah.
Culture is a word that's used quite a bit these days to describe hockey and the dressing room and the players within it. How would you describe the culture within that Okotoks organization throughout the whole season going into playoffs?
I think tight knit would be the word that comes to mind. You know, we're young, so we know that we kind of need to kind of band together if we want to have success. I think we're doing just that. So yeah.
Well, Rieger, we really appreciate this. Obviously, we're so excited for AJHL playoffs to be back after a couple of years of missing them, but really looking forward to watching you and this Okotoks Black Falls series. Best of luck.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, guys.
Special thanks to Adam Manah from the Oil Barons and Rieger Lorenz from the Oilers for joining us on this week's episode. Nate, the playoffs, they're back. What are you most looking forward to when you get in action here on the 18th?
The food in the arenas. Remember that for a month there, we couldn't have food in the arenas. I'm just looking forward for the players to get this opportunity after, you know, we saw so many great players last season who didn't get a playoff game and the season before. So I'm most excited for that, the opportunity they get. And you know what? We can talk all we want about who's going to win and that, but we really don't know. You got to play the games. So that's what makes it fun.
That's what, makes the game beautiful. In the north, you got Fort McMurray, Sherwood Park, Bonnyville, Whitecourt, and Drayton Valley, Lloydminster. In the south, Drumheller, Calgary, Camrose, and Canmore. And then the Okotoks Oilers against the Black Falls Bulldogs. Should be a great first round. Nate, thanks for this. Always lots of fun. And we're going to do another one here, I believe, before the start of round number 2.
Let's do it.